The supporting male leads threw themselves at me to save the heroine. They expected a villain. They didn't expect me to enjoy it. I didn't ask if it was a trap. I just asked, who's next? So, the timeline went a little something like this. While Preston, the alpha male lead, and Grace, the innocent heroine, were suffering through a classic misunderstanding, I was in a dimly lit penthouse, teaching a rebellious bad boy exactly where he belonged on his knees. While Preston and Grace were tearing each other apart with jealousy, I was in a sterile lab, letting a high-functioning sociopath lose his absolute mind over the scent of my perfume. And when the happy couple finally reconciled, I was being worshipped by a mysterious guardian who treated my pleasure like a sacred ritual. Finally, the inevitable happened. Preston stormed up to me, eyes blazing with self-righteous fury. Can we annul the engagement? No. I took a slow sip of my champagne. No. He snapped. Slap. A stack of high-definition photos hit the marble coffee table. They fanned out like a deck of cards, each one explicit, damning, and frankly, artistic. Me and Axel. Me and Damien. Me and Cassius. You have humiliated me for the last time, Blair. Preston roared, his voice shaking the crystal chandelier. You made me the laughingstock of New York. My stock is tanking because of your scandals. Why the hell won't you agree to break up? I looked at him, at his veins bulging with rage, and blinked innocently. Because, I said, my voice smooth as silk, we were never engaged to begin with. I pointed a manicured finger at his chest. You're engaged to my sister, Victoria. Preston looked like he'd been struck by lightning. His face drained of color, then flashed a violent, ugly red. His breath hitched in his throat, a strangled sound escaping his lips. You and I, no engagement. He stammered, his arrogance faltering for the first time. Then why? Why have you been controlling my life for 3 years? He took a step forward, aggression radiating off him in waves. If a woman so much as looked at me, you acted like a rabid dog. You chased them off. You ruined my social life. I shrugged, leaning back into the velvet sofa, the picture of unbothered elegance. Because I had to watch you for Victoria, I said, as if explaining quantum physics to a toddler. You're an investment, Preston. A liability. A liability. Lack of impulse control is a fiscal liability. You are bad for the bottom line, I lectured, channeling my sister's boardroom energy. You're engaged to the queen bee of the Zhao Empire. You represent her brand. You are expected to be chaste, loyal, and boring. If I didn't gatekeep you, you'd have tanked the merger by sleeping with an intern. Preston's jaw hit the floor. He looked down at the table covered in evidence of my debauchery and then back up at my face. You have the audacity to lecture me about morals. The explosion was visceral. He slammed his hand onto the table, scattering the photos. Look at this, Blair. He screamed, pointing at a grainy shot of Axel kissing my boot. These men. They barely have to undo a button and you accept them. You take them all. Every night a new partner. Every day a new scandal. He grabbed another photo, Damien, tying my hands with his signature silk tie. You're even using custom leather collars and leashes. You're treating the city's elite like pound dogs, and you dare to accuse me of being loose. I didn't flinch. I didn't even blink. So, I countered, my tone bored. And I stood up, smoothing the skirt of my dress, meeting his gaze head on. Life is short, Preston. We're here for a good time, not a long time. If they want to worship me for a few nights, who am I to deny them salvation? Besides, I smirked, leaning in closer, enjoying the way his pupils dilated with confusion. Why pick one flavor when the buffet is open? It's not addiction, darling. It's curiosity. I'm not bad, I quoted, batting my eyelashes. I'm just drawn that way. What's the crime? Sentenced to fly economy for a week. Banned from Aruhan. Preston just stared at me. He looked like he was having a cardiac event. He hadn't encountered this level of shamelessness in his entire Ivy League life. But then, his eyes narrowed. A cold, malicious realization sharpened his features. Does Victoria know? He asked softly. My smile faltered. Bullseye. He saw the micro-flinch. He saw the way my fingers tightened around the champagne flute. The engagement isn't broken yet, Preston sneered, regaining his footing. He was the gaslighter again, the controller. Technically, I am still your future brother-in-law. I am family. And family corrects behavior. He grabbed the stack of photos. Where is she? He demanded, his voice dripping with venom. I'm going to show her this. Right now. I wonder what the great Victoria Zhao will do when she sees her little sister dragging the family name through the mud. She'll cut your trust fund. She'll exile you. Panic seized my chest. Not for me but for Victoria. She was in the middle of a hostile takeover. She didn't need this distraction. Preston, I said, my voice rising an octave. You walk in here demanding a breakup, calling yourself a victim. You have no right to see her. I have every right. You just said you wanted out. You're an outsider. I argued, desperation creeping in. You don't get to snitch. Preston didn't back down. He smiled, a shark smelling blood. Fine. I'm a heartbreaker. I'm an outsider. He held out his hand, palm up. Expectant. Then pay me back the $2 million you borrowed last month for your little yacht party. I froze. The air left the room. I blinked once. Twice. My expression shifted from villainous to good sister in record time. Preston, darling, I beamed, my voice dripping with sugar.